imagine if you're looking down on the layers you have here. Say this is a side-on view, so say you have these stacked on top of each other. So I had a video and a picture, and I'm looking in the composition window. I would be looking down, so the top one is what would be visible. If I have this video and a picture underneath, they're both there, but the one I can see is the one that is closest to the top. Okay, so I just thought I'd explain that. It's fairly simple as a concept, but you know, just in case you weren't sure which one. If I move this picture above this now, I will see the picture and not the video. Okay, so now let's just assume that you want to play your video, because the first thing you're going to want to do is think, well, is this working? You know, is it playing smoothly? What most people will do is drop it in and press spacebar, and this is going to play quite happily. But you're like, wait a minute, where's my sound? And that's one of the most common complaints or questions people ask. Where's my sound? Why? You know, there's a sound file here. They should all be playing together. Why is this not playing? Well, the reason why is to play it with sound, you have to go up into the time controls, which I mentioned earlier, and click this little button here, Run Preview. And there it is. Hopefully this comes through on the recording, I'm hoping. But that now has sound. And can you see, and that's playing at full time. So just do not use spacebar. Spacebar basically makes, it just shows you roughly what your motion is going to look like. If you have a complex composition, it will play at half the speed. It won't look great. So always use the RAM preview. If you have an extended keyboard, it's 0 on the number pad, and it's probably the shortcut I use the most, because you want to see what's happening, and you press 0 and just run preview away. Okay, now I am going to close this area down and show you. Basically, this RAM preview, if you have lots of things going on, you will only be able to see maybe 5 or 10 seconds at a time, and so you will want to control what you are watching. So in this case, I'm just going to move this this video here, and press Run Preview. I think I was just explaining about how you can choose the area that you want the RAM preview to affect. Usually this is going to be the area what you're working on or putting effects on, and so forth. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. If you have this on full, and basically it's just going to play as much as your RAM that your computer has can take, and then it's going to stop and just loop the area that's previewed, which is represented in green. So just be aware of that. Okay, what I'm going to do for the next part is show you. I'm going to bring in a video, and this is just a FIFA clip. I'm going to drag this onto the timeline. As you can see, this is about 16 seconds long, give or take. And I'm going to show you a couple of things about when clips start and end. So here we have, I think it's pretty obvious that the area that is in bold color is where the video starts and ends. You can change when it starts and ends by, if you go to the very end, dragging the endpoints. At this point, the grayed out area will not be played. It's still there, but if there's any video or audio, you will not be able to see it or hear it. As soon as we get to the solid block, can you see the video appears? So that is one way of, say you were trying to line up kind of the endpoints of a song. Obviously this is not going to be, but if you want the audio to kind of stop, and this will stop the audio and the video as soon as it goes grey, so you just want to do that. This is important, like if you don't want to use the very beginning of a clip, say for example, you just want to start it halfway through. So yeah, that's that. I'm also going to show you real quick how to make text. Click up on the T, click anywhere in the window, and start writing. Now, as you can see here, we have the characters tab, And if I scroll this little bar here, can you see before we had effects and presets, characters tab is here, and this, if I select my arrow again, select my layer, we have the ever popular Arial font selected, and we can change the color. And if we twirl down, say for example the transform, we can scale this up and move it around. It's just basic text, and if you've used a video program before, you know it can get complicated if you wanted to, but that's how you make text. Lastly, I'm going to show you how to make effects. Now this is probably the most exciting part of the program, probably the part that most of you were hoping me to get at from the start, but I think we needed to build foundation of how everything works first. I'm going to select the clip that I want to, it's not imperative that you select it. If you go to effects and presets, we're going to choose a blur. So if you move down to blur and sharpen, you can also go effect. If you want to use this menu, these are all grayed out right now. You would have to select the layer, and then can you see all the things that you can apply to it will be in black, but I'm going to be doing it this way because basically if you know what you're looking for, you can type it in and find it faster. But, I'm going to twirl down blur, and just for now I'm going to apply a fast blur. Drag it onto the clip and let go. Straight away up here in the effect window, you can see that the effect which you've applied to this layer is now up here, and this area is basically where you control the parameters of the effect. And if I go to blurriness here, it's at 0, so nothing's happening. If I crank this up, we're going to see, you know, the obvious blurring effect. And if I click on repeat edge pixels, we're going to kind of lock off the sides. Just show you what that does. Okay, so that's how you apply an effect, you know, and I could apply any number of radical effects. Let's bring a color correction. Let's bring, I don't know, tint. Drag it on. And now we've tinted the video black and white. And as you can see now, we have the two effects represented here. If you want to disable an effect, just click the effects, and the effect will be disabled, and then click it back on, just like clicking the things here. Now the thing is with effects, they're very rarely going to look good unless you animate them, and that brings us to the last part that I want to get into, which is animating. Any function, and this is very important, this is probably the key to the whole program, any function in After Effects can usually be animated. If we twirl down this back to the transform, even something as simple as the position, the scale, everything can be animated. And if something can be animated, it's represented by a little stopwatch, which you can see here. And as you can see, the stopwatches are here. Now these stopwatches, basically when you click, will record that moment in time, that the parameter that you click, so in this case scale, it will record the state that it is at that very point in time. Now if I move on in time, and maybe 2 seconds on here, or 4 seconds, and I move the scale up of the video, like so, I'm going to disable these effects just so you can see what's going on. Can you see we've now got another diamond, and automatically it's kind of made another diamond. Now what does this mean? Now can you see if I twirl between these two, we have animation. Basically After Effects will always automatically calculate between these two diamonds, which are called keyframes. If they differ in values from here to here, then After Effects will automatically calculate a kind of interpolation between these two. And here we're doing it with scale, so we're slowly zooming in. If I bring this piece of video back, the most common one that you will see is the opacity. So if I twirl down, click on opacity, and you know, you can make this and then move it. So I know this is 100 at the moment, because when I made it, when I clicked the stopwatch, it was 100. I'm going to move this here, and I'm going to move this down to 0, which is invisible. And now the ever popular crossfade. And you can do this, you know, I'm going to move this over here for now. You can do this with, let's do this with the blur. click the stopwatch. Now you might think, you know, where's my keyframe? Well, if you want to see your keyframe, we now have effects here because we've applied effects. Swirl down fast blur, and there it is, blurriness, and there's our keyframe. So we move that there and then drop this down to 0. And once again we have animation. We're going from a 0 keyframe to 48, and that's basically it. I can go up and then back down here. It's automatically going to record anytime you're on an empty space and this is selected. It's going to record and then jump between these frames. So I'm going in and out and in. And once again, this is a familiar kind of function if you've ever used a video program. If you say, well, I don't want that animation anymore, just click the stopwatch off and bring this back down to what it was. You can drag by holding down, or you can click once and type the function in manually. And here we still have the scale animation, so I'm going to come back to the start when it was 100, turn off this, and we're back to normal. So yeah, I'd say the best thing to do is to experiment with these. I mean, look how many there are. I've just twirled down one folder here. Look how many color correction ones there are. You know, you have all kinds of wacky ones. Colorama is fun. And whoa, it's like 1969 on acid. And once again, you twirl it down, and each effect will have lots of parameters, and the best thing to do is to kind of play with them to find out what they do. If I want to delete these, just select the name and delete. Now I think that pretty much covers it. Now the last thing you're going to want to do is, let's say you are happy with your video. You've you've got this cool crossfade going on. You know, Transformers 3 is not beyond the realms of possibility at this point. You know, the sky's the limit, but you want to watch it, so you press run preview. And let me just point out, at the moment it's not previewing this area because I have this ticked from current time. Oh, what a goal. Okay, if I untick this and press run preview, once again I'm pressing 0 on the number pad. You can just press that button there. Can you see it's playing Cool Spawn Bro? This video's going on. Underneath there's a picture, but we can't see it because this is opaque. Okay, there we have the crossfade going on, and you're pretty happy and you want to render this out now. So what you want to do is make sure that the area, let's zoom out, the area portrays what you want to render. If you want to render your whole video, then having an area this small is not going to work. When you come to render, you will only be rendering this area. Easiest way to do this, double click there. There we have it. This is going to expand your area. You go up to composition, add to render queue. This is going to open a menu here. I could explain this in detail, but the basic facts are that you're not going to want to change very many things. One thing you will want to do is click here on lossless. Click audio output, because the confusing thing about this program is that it does not render audio as standard. Everything else will result in maximum quality, but always remember to turn your audio on. There's ways to get around that by making presets and templates, but that's one for another day. So now if we click on here, we can see it's okay. Output to, choose the path that you want to save it to, and then just click render. And this bar is going to fill up. When it fills up, your masterpiece is complete. And you can watch it, and by default, like I said, I've chosen the best settings. If you then go to watch it in whatever directory you're in, and you're thinking, wow, this is playing slow, then that's because this is literally rendering uncompressed video, which is the highest quality possible based on what you had when you started. And then you might want to take it into an encoding program. QuickTime can encode, for example, and encode it down to something that your computer will not have trouble playing. But encoding is once again a whole other subject, which you could talk hours and hours about. I'm not going to bore you. So I think that's about it, to be honest. I think we're just coming up to half an hour, so I think I managed to get everything I wanted to say. I'm going to be doing one of these for Photoshop soon. Hope you watch that. I hope you learned what you wanted to from this tutorial. I'm sorry if I blabbered along a bit. Some points, just wanted to make sure I got in everything. Subscribe to my YouTube for more videos. Check it out, and I will be when I do make a video, I'll post it on Twitter. If you look at the little intro I did to the video, it's got all the details there, and I'm on Twitter. Zolamedia.com obviously is the central portal through which I operate. So thanks for watching, and go have fun.